My name's Simon. I'll be doing our 2 o'clock Otter program. We'll get started in like about 2 minutes. Give time for folks to show up from their walks and from their hikes. So just hang in there, give it another 2 minutes, and then we'll get rolling. In the meantime, if you have any questions, if you'd like to take pictures of Scarlett, go ahead. That's Scarlett right in there. Yep, this is all one enclosure. She's got access to both the wet side and the dry side. Back here she comes right now. North American river otters are semi-aquatic. They spend a chunk of their time in the water, a chunk of their time on land. So we have both those environments available for our otters. The question is, how many otters do we have? We have 3 otters in our care. You might be saying, well, Simon, I know that's not right because I only see 1 otter. North American river otters are solitary by nature. They do not like the company of other river otters. And so only 1 otter comes out on exhibit at a time. Now there are exceptions to that rule. The 2 big ones, when they're mating, they love company. And 2 is when a female otter has her pups. She'll keep her kiddos around with her for 1.5 to 2 years. So if you see a big otter and you see a bunch of small little otters, chances are that's a mama and her pups. Give about 1 more minute for folks to arrive, but in the meantime, if you have any questions, feel free to come up. My name's Simon. Today our otter is Scarlett. What do they eat? So, does anyone have a guess? What might a river otter like to eat? What's that? Clam. So we're thinking shellfish of some kind. Any other guesses? So tiny little fish, absolutely. Any more guesses? Big fish too, if they can catch them. Something that all those guesses have in common, and yes, they are all correct, is that it is meat. Otters are pretty much 100% carnivores, and they will eat whatever meat they can get their hands on. So for a young otter, an otter who's not so good at swimming and hunting yet, that might be salamanders and frogs. For an older otter, one that's a little bit more skillful, a little bit more fierce, that might be the big fish. And for our otters, we will occasionally introduce fish into this enclosure for them to track down, so that they have to practice those skills of hunting and catching. So I'm going to get started. To let you all know, my program lasts about 10, 12 minutes. If during that time you're like, not digging it, you want to do your own thing, please feel free to go do your own thing. Have fun, do whatever makes you happy. If you need a restroom in that time, there's restrooms down the hallway on your left, and I will answer all questions at the end. So to start off my program, I got a question for y'all. And you can just answer by raising your hand. And my question is, how many of you have ever needed a second chance? I can think of a few. Maybe you didn't pass your geography test on the first try and you had to take it again. That took me a few tries. Maybe you hurt a friend's feelings and you had to go and make it right by them. For me, it was my driver's test. I failed not once, not twice, but 3 times. So it took me quite a few second chances before I got that sweet, sweet license. To be fair, it was in New York City. I had to do the parallel parking, the K-turn, the whole deal. I bring up second chances because the story of river otters in New York State is the story of second chances. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, let's take Scarlett here, for instance. Scarlett is only with us because of second chances. She was found in South Carolina on the side of a road, and she had horrible scratches all over her face. She was less than a year old, and she had been separated from her mother. Because of her injuries, because she had been separated from her mother, her chances of survival were almost nothing. Fortunately, a wildlife rehabilitator, someone who takes care of injured wild animals, found her, scooped her up, took her into his care, and nursed her back to health. Because of that second chance, Scarlett survived. Now, unfortunately, because she was so young when she was injured, and because she had been separated from her mother, Scarlett never had the opportunity to learn the skills of hunting, avoiding predators, things that would help her survive in the wild. So without those skills, she was non-releasable. She needed a new place to call her home. And that place, fortunately, was the Wild Center, and she has become one of our colleagues and close friends. So because of Second Chances, Scarlett is here with us today. Now, this presents a really special opportunity because to see a river otter in the wild, they'd be far away, the water would be murky, you wouldn't get to get up close and personal. So what I want us to do is we're going to take advantage of this opportunity. What I want you to do is just take 15 seconds of quiet observation, just looking at Scarlett. And I want us to find things that describe her. Like, what does she look like? What is she doing? What behaviors do you see? What textures, colors, attributes of her body? Everything is welcome. So 15 seconds of looking, and then we'll have a group share out of what we observed. It's nice. It's not super busy today. You can get right up close and personal. Yeah, it's hard to get a good picture when you're moving so fast. So your observation is that she's moving really quickly. Her average swimming speed is about 2.5 miles per hour, which is, it doesn't sound like much, but for a comparison, that's about as fast as Michael Phelps swims. So an average otter equals the best human when it comes to swimming. So thank you for kicking off our observations. What more do we observe? Very, very flexible. So otters are, they are made for living in the water. She'll spend about 2/3 of her waking hours in the water, and in order to survive in that environment, her body is very torpedo-shaped, very smooth. And then you've also got that tail that seems to whip around like crazy. That tail is about 1/3 of her total body length. It acts like a rudder that steers her through the water, giving her that flexibility and maneuverability in the water. Thank you for that observation. What more can we find?
Like pushing up against objects.
Excellent. So you're noticing that she's pushing up against the object. So she's using those hind feet to really give her a lot of get up and go. Not only is she pushing, but if you look at her hands and her feet, they are webbed. Now when I say webbed, what I want you to do is just hold out your own hand. And you can just run your finger through your other fingers. There's nothing there. Your fingers have nothing connecting them. For otters, they have skin connecting their fingers. And that webbing helps give them big paddles for moving through the water. So they push and they have the webbing to help them move really quickly through the water. Thank you for your observation. Does anyone have anything more they would like to add?
Looks like her coat is dark on top and lighter on her belly.
So you're looking at her fur and you're noticing that there's different colorations. So dark on top, light on the bottom. And so you'll see this in fish too, where they're dark on top and light on the bottom. So imagine you're a predator in the water, and you're looking up, trying to find things to eat. The sun's shining down, so everything that's light-colored is going to blend in. But now imagine you're a bird looking down on the water. Everything's dark and murky, so you want your top to be dark and murky too, so you blend in with the water. It's called counter-shading, and it helps them blend in their aquatic environment. Now I also want to point out about the fur, look how smooth and sleek it is. Otters have some of the smoothest fur in the entire animal world. Imagine taking every hair on your head and squishing them down until they fit in 1 square inch. You have about 175,000 hairs on your head. Otters have about 175,000 hairs per square inch on their body. So every hair on your head squished into a square inch of space. That's extremely dense fur. Not only that, but their fur is also oily. So they have glands that secrete oil, and they're constantly covering their fur in oil, keeping it waterproof. And this is essential for their survival. They would not live without it. They don't have the blubber that keeps animals warm in the cold, cold water. And so that waterproof fur insulates their bodies and keeps them from freezing to death in the winter. Now I invite you at some point in the program, you should walk over there. There's actually a little patch of otter fur. You can feel how soft it is. Compare it to your own hair, compare it to the bear fur that's on there.
You did have brink out here. You did have brink that got cut even. You didn't need the brink.
Sorry, say it again?
You have brink.
Brain?
The brink.
Oh, sorry, I didn't, the bucket, like our
Brink.
Oh, the blanket. Sorry, yes. Yeah, so she had the blanket in there. We give them like toys and things to make their lives more interesting in there. Thank you. So the fur. Because of that soft fur, otters almost disappeared from New York State. Now, what do I mean by that? An otter pelt in the early 1900s, late 1800s, could fetch about $200 in modern day money for a single fur. So you can make your day's income just by catching 1 or 2 otters. Because of that, because they were so valuable and so sought after, the number of otters in the Adirondacks and in New York State went down, 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 until they were completely gone from the state. We call this extirpation. Now we're probably familiar with the term extinction. Extinction means that species is gone from the planet. Extirpation means that the species is gone from one area. So otters were gone from New York State, otters were extirpated from New York State. Now, we had failed. We had failed to take care of these animals who we share our homes with. We had failed to take care of this resource, this part of our environment. But with failure comes the opportunity for second chances. And so the people of New York State recognized that we needed to take advantage of this second chance before we lost it. And what they did is in the early 1900s, they banned all otter trapping for 9 years. 9 years you could not take an otter in New York State. And what happened because of that was otters started coming back into the state, their population started growing and growing and growing. And in the Adirondacks, the otters are actually doing pretty well. Outside the Adirondacks, the otters were not doing very well. They were not coming back. So in the early 2000s, scientists trapped otters in the Adirondacks and brought them to 200 locations around New York State and released them. And because of that, we now have a healthy population of otters in New York State. Because we acted thoughtfully, because we took advantage of our second chance, we were able to sustain this part of our environment instead of losing it. Now I love that story because a lot of times when we get to the news today, there's a lot of stories about doom and gloom with the environment, but this is a living reminder that if we act responsibly, if we take advantage of our second chances, we can do better than we have in the past. And there's so many stories about this. There's stories about the CFCs that were in all our spray cans depleting the ozone. And guess what? The ozone hole is getting smaller for the first time since the 1980s. There's stories about, that's another good one. Lost my train of thought. There's stories we're moving away from using fossil fuels and moving towards using renewable energy. So that's another way we're taking advantage of our second chances. And we all have an opportunity to be a part of those second chances every day. The small choices we make, like how we get to work, whether we turn the lights off when we leave a room, whether we leave the faucet running, how warm we keep our homes. They feel like small choices, but every single one of those choices contributes to a second chance to take care of our environment better than we have in the past. So every day we get the chance to do better than we have before. And that's the story of river otters. The story of river otters is the story of those second chances. And we would not have an opportunity like this if we had not acted responsibly and taken advantage of that second chance. So with that, I want to say thank you. I want to say a specific thank you to the folks who have our membership stickers. Y'all really support our mission in that ongoing fashion that helps us provide top-notch care and provide programming to everyone. I'm going to stick around and answer questions, but y'all have a wonderful day.